Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about a Wizard Cup. But before we talk about this, we just want to get the hair out of our mouth. And then we want to remind you to subscribe so you can see all our videos as they come out. All right, so Wizard Cup is designed by Satoshi Kanai, and it is published by Pandasaurus Games.
All right, in this game, we are two wizards dueling off. We are the best of the best, and we're trying to prove it to everyone else. All right, we have a deck. Each player has a deck. It's a two-player only game. Those decks are identical. What's going to happen is there's kind of some programming going on. What you're going to do is you are going to choose 6 of your wizards on your team to face off in a duel against the 6 wizards on your opponent's team. You're going to have one selected randomly for you, but then you're going to be able to choose 5 more. Then you're going to kind of choose an order in which to put them out there. One of them's going to be off to the side is kind of in waiting, right? They may jump in, they may not. And then you have 5 more that are actually kind of in the order that you choose for them. Then, after that, your part of the game is done. You are just... Now you're just
here for the ride.
You're just going to let the wizards do what the wizards are going to do. You and your opponent are just going to flip over the top card, and you're going to duel it out. Whoever wins, wins. The other person gets discarded. And then the person who lost then reveals another one from their deck, and you keep on going until someone loses all the cards in their deck, and then whoever has cards left is the winner.
Woo, woo.
There are a few different ways you can get knocked out, though. All right, so the first thing that happens is when you reveal your 2 wizards, they have different effects. Some of them are lightning effects. If those lightning effects knock out your opponent, they're just gone like that.
Out.
The next thing that might knock them out, if there's no lightning effects that do that, is this order of these elements, right? So you have these certain elements beating other elements, like water beating fire, fire beating grass, grass beating light. Nothing is able to beat void. So there's all these kind of like suits. I guess you could call them suits,
yeah.
Right? Basically, that's how it works in cards. But these different little factions or elements of these wizards. And if your element has the weakness of the opponent's wizard, you lose. All right, so if you still didn't have anything happen that knocks either one of your wizards out, then next it comes to a number. Each wizard is numbered. Whoever has the highest number wizard wins. Everyone is knocked out. One cool thing is that there's also a discard pile when your wizards do get knocked out, and sometimes they have effects that also affect the active wizard, so you have to keep an eye out for that. Might modify things in your favor.
What I really liked about this was there's these 18 cards you're choosing from, right? And you're trying to create a strategy, you're trying to do something, but for me, I can't really limit it down. I actually really like that the game starts with your opponent randomly choosing a card that you have to implement, and now I have this card that I can build a strategy around. Like, now I have a direction to go, and I don't have to just think about it. And then there is a chance... I'll talk about that later on, but I just really like how it gives me a direction to go in, and I'm not like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what the best thing is here. I don't know what Ryan's going to do. I don't know how I'm going to implement. No, here's your card. Now you can create something based off that card. I can do that.
I like how the game is so simple. Once you've programmed your deck, you're just along for the ride that we talked about earlier. It makes it so that the game itself is before the game, which is like a really unique thing. And then really you're just kind of revealing everything and just kind of seeing what happens. I like that it's just one-on-one. There's no more complications. There's just one small wrinkle that I already hinted at, which was the discard pile may have an effect that affects your active wizard. So maybe if you have a fire elemental up front, but then you also have a fire elemental wizard that says something like, for every... If you have a fire wizard as your active wizard, add +3 to its total. Oh, so that's awesome. Now it's an 11 instead of an 8, or whatever the case is. So I like how there's a small little bit that can manipulate things and gives you a way and a reason to stack things. But really, the top one is just all the super, super simple. You're just kind of checking the top ones and maybe referencing the side. Yeah. And that's it.
So after the round is over, you actually are going to be competing again, and you're going to do that until best 2 out of 3, whoever wins, yada, 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 all that stuff. But what's really cool is when you get your hand, it's not like you're competing against the exact same wizards. You can choose one of the cards from your hand to take it out and implement a new card, which is really nice, especially if you lost, because your opponent potentially saw all of the cards. Probably not your one card off to the side. There are cards that would interact with that, but most of them don't. So your opponent has seen, especially if you lost, all of your cards. And so now you get to switch that out so they don't know everything you have and they have to think again of their strategy, and they also get to switch out one of their cards. But I just like that you've built this strategy that didn't really work, and now you can tweak it a little bit. You can try to experiment with this, try to hone in on what you're trying to do, while also putting some intrigue to your opponent because they don't know everything you have anymore.
There's a really handy player aid. Player aids are always beneficial. I'm always rooting for them. Always glad when they're in a game. And more and more games have them these days. In this game, you couldn't play it without. It's super important, and it is there, which is great. On one side is kind of a symbology guide. It tells you this is an immediate effect symbol. This is the discard pile effect symbol. This is like the static effect as long as it's up front, whatever the case is. But on the back side, it shows you all those weaknesses. How the water is weak to grass is weak to fire, all that stuff. It shows you all that in a little graph so you don't have to guess. It shows you right there in a very easy to see way. So that is super important, and both players get one. I love it. Player aids, super important. This one, it's crucial.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on that as you're playing. Make sure you are referencing that constantly.
So overall, I thought this was definitely a fine game. It's not something that necessarily intrigued me. I don't know if I would ask for it. If somebody wanted to play, I'd probably play with them. But it's not something that I personally would seek out. Not quite a pass for me, but like a step above a pass for me.
Pass plus?
Yeah, pass plus.
I think this is actually a really cool take on dueling card games. We don't normally like dueling card games against each other. But this one is just kind of an interesting take that we hadn't seen before. The programming element and how the kind of interactions happen with that. I like the resolving phase. I like how it's super, super quick, easy to see who won based off of the lightning phase, then the weaknesses, and then the number. And there's a chance where you can knock each other out at the same time too. So both characters can get knocked out. This thing takes up 0 space. Super easy to travel with, but also from a table standpoint, it takes up no table space either. Yeah. All it takes up is just your card, your reserve, and your draw pile. Then you're flipping over the card, space for that, which you can just do in your hand, really. So you don't even need that. It takes up hardly any space on the table, so it's great for traveling, small table spaces, things like that. I do think that after repeat plays, this could get a little samey. This could start feeling like repetitious. I might like to see maybe an expansion pack come out, have a couple more wizards start in the mix that kind of give you some more variety once players are familiar with the core ones that are in here. But overall, I think that this is a game that is cool, it's unique, it has programming, but it's not a game that we're going to play a whole lot personally ourselves, unless we're maybe on the go looking for something quick and simple.
Yeah. Everybody, thank you so much for watching it. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see all our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
You guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
You guys, thanks so much for watching. This game was provided to us by a publisher in exchange for a fair and honest review.
And if you want to see more stuff, check out over here to see something we think you might like.
And over here, we think that YouTube has picked out a great video for you you're going to love. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.